why don't you just, you listed 24 steps that someone had to go through, or bases that had to be touched.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I knew it was complicated. I'd never made a long list, but we broke it into the pre-construction approval process, which typically takes about 18 months. Would you like to just quickly go through those again to make sure that we cover those?
Sure, and this is a summarized list. There's little bits and pieces off of any of them, but that front end 18 months, assuming you can avoid the zoning process, which we did, because if it's a zoning before that, it probably is another year to potentially 18 months to get through a zoning process. But having avoided that, we went into about an 18-month review of site surveys and boundary analysis, which brings into consideration past ownership. And are there latent, like with environmental, are there latent ownership issues that need to be considered? Places where you might have boundary gaps, where you might have fences encroaching, which we did on Ridgewood Park. We had to visit with some neighbors and talk about some fences that they thought were theirs, and ended up being well into our property. And we worked out a congenial arrangement to eventually get them moved. But those types of things need to be identified early. Topographic surveys, so that we could affirm our later assumptions about drainage outfalls and the like, and the elevations of finished floors and to the roads and such. Again, geotechnical evaluations and phase 1 studies to figure out both the soils and any surface environmental or subsurface tanks or storage items. Again, wetlands, flagging of wetlands, site walk with the agencies, ultimately getting the agencies to affirm what was identified in the field for wetland and stream boundaries, and a tentative plan development and approval with the municipality at that planning commission level, and then ultimately the design and the county approval of the construction plans. Similar to building a home, you end up with a set of construction plans that define the roadways, the utility piping, down to the very fine detail of what gets built under the ground and on the surface of the ground to create that subdivision before the builder launches and starts to build things vertical. We build horizontal, the builder is going vertical, and they're two different sets of plans.
Right.
That's that first stage of, before you've turned a spade of dirt, that you've got to move through to get ready to execute on site.
Right, right. And again, covering in that we did, or would be today, would need to make sure we had a way of meeting the nutrient bank regulations with the Virginia DEQ, U.S. Army Corps of Engineers requirements relative to wetlands and streams and the 3 types of streams, and touching all those bases to make sure that.
And we had it easy compared to today.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The most recent regulations would have required us probably to have had either an on-site pond,
right,
which we didn't have much area. We would have lost lots probably in the process.
Right.
Or we would have had to reached out to some of the newest opportunities, which are nutrient banks, to purchase at a fairly steep price.
Yes.
Nutrient credits. Nutrient credits today are going in the range of $25,000 to $50,000 a pound as a commodity in order to do development. And those are cost factors that you have to understand very early in your process.
Have a huge impact back on that quick and dirty that we talked about.